Welcome back. You're watching the Money Show, and yes, it's time to discuss the Fed rate cut. The Federal Reserve has announced a 25 BPS cut with a signal of two more in this calendar year and one in 2026 and 27. But the big debate over here is, or point in concern over here is, was this move driven by genuine economic concerns or political pressure? Jobs data is weakening, yet GDP and inflation projections are pointing higher. Markets, meanwhile, are not buying the Fed's optimism. Bond yields have jumped, inflation uncertainty remains, and global yield curves are steepening. So, what does all this mean for debt markets, investors, and fixed income strategies going forward? To decode all of this, we have with us Mahindra Jaju, CIO, Fixed Income, Mira Asset Mutual Fund. Mahindra sir, hi, good evening, welcome to the show. Okay, so let's understand the Fed's decision because we really want to read between the lines. Definitely a cut was expected and it has come on the expected lines as well. But then the commentary says it's a risk management cut. Now, given the Fed concern about weakening job market momentum, how do you see this impacting long-term bond yields and credit spreads? And before that, I also want to understand whether Fed is also fearing a situation of stagflation in the economy.
Well, I think Fed rate cut has to be looked in the perspective that in the months before,
Mm-hmm.
the net job addition for the US for the year to date was reduced by about 900,000 jobs. So I think the Fed decision is possibly influenced to a large extent by that one single data point. Otherwise, if you look at the projections for the GDP growth for 2026 and 2027, or if you look at the inflation projection for the 2025 or 26, both have been revised upwards slightly by the Fed plots committee. And then the an unemployment rate is expected to fall back to 4.2% in 2026. So therefore, it's very strange to see the Fed cut rates, even as most of the macro indicators seem to strengthen the case for continued pause. And therefore, there is that debate in the market whether there is some sort of pressure building up. So, what kind of an insurance cut is where is the weakness that the Fed has seen? But nevertheless, there is a rate cut, and there are indications of the two more rate cuts in the rest of the year. So we have two policies, and therefore it's implied that each of the policy will have a rate cut. So there is a disconnect between the Fed projection and the Fed action. There is a sort of anticipation of a rate cut, which was building up because of the comments made by the Fed chairman at the Jackson Hole conference month back. And to that extent, the market is also worried a little bit about the impact. We have seen the bond yields hardly move, and market continues to focus on the large refinancing of the debt that the various countries have to do, US in particular. And what is a disconnect, which again is very strange, is that the Fed will continue to reduce its balance sheet as per the current schedule. There is no change in that, and therefore there is a continued demand for a higher term premium by the market, which means the long term bond yields are not expected to come down till there is more conviction in the whole communication from the Fed.
So, sir, I also want to understand the further trajectory in 26-27. A single quarter percent cut. I mean, isn't that being over conservative?
So as far as the rate cuts are concerned, first of all, the rate cuts that are happening also are happening in a very controversial sort of situation. There is a lot of flip flop. There isn't any clear guidance. What kind of insurance cut and all that is there. So it's not very clear as to how many rate cuts can happen. There are projections ranging from 2.5% within the current year by one Fed governor to people remaining at around three quarter. So there is a whole range of projections which different people have given. Uh, but it is expected that going forward, the Fed will continue to cut rates and maybe bring the Fed rate down to close to 3%. There seems to be little resistance to that path now. The economy is showing very stable sort of trajectory, but then it is expected to slow down. If we look at any of the lead indicators, uh, for example, the uh, you know PMI forecasts or different business surveys by different Feds in the local markets, there is a clear projection for the business momentum or the GDP momentum to slow down. Hiring is looking very, very weak. As I said earlier, the past employment numbers have been revised downward. And then there's one other index which suggests that people are at their lowest in terms of confidence, in terms of being able to find another job if they were to be fired today. So I think the Fed will willy-nilly move towards further rate cuts. But the concern which the market continues to have is the large refinancing that is becoming due, and therefore the yield curve are likely to get steeper. I think that the long-term rates can continue to be higher. It can move higher by 25 to 50 basis points, notwithstanding the rate cut. We saw in India also that after the jumbo rate cut by the Reserve Bank in the June policy, the long-term bond yields have actually gone up because market thought this is the last rate cut. And then there are bigger worries in the global markets now. We have seen the French, 20, 30-year bond yield at 25-year high. We have seen the UK 30-year bond yield at 25-year high. Same is the case with Japan. So I think globally there is a trend for the long-term yields to go up, and I don't think that US will escape that.
So, some market participants believe that the rate cut was politically influenced. From a fixed income investor's lens, how much weight should one assign to political pressure versus economic rationale? Having said that, definitely a cut was awaited, and that is what everyone was looking for, which is justified. But then, what about the political pressure tone which comes along with it?
So if we, separate the noise from what the ground reality is, what is the market signal, which is why, for the past couple of months, whenever I have had the opportunity, I have said that the time for the duration is perhaps behind us. It is time to switch to accruals. And therefore, if we separate the noise, what I see is that there will be rate cuts from Fed going forward. There is space opening up clearly for the Reserve Bank to also cut rates, but then there will continue to be pressure on the long end of the yield curve. Therefore, it is best strategy for now to be focused on accrual and not, one can debate whether this, rate cut was under some pressure or influence, or is it driven by the insurance sort of the risk or other factors. But the bottom line is that if the rate cuts are not very convincing and doesn't look like coming from out of conviction, then the market will never go very aggressively as a follow-up to that rate cut, and which is what we are seeing across the markets right now.
If you could just answer this question, why do you think the US market did not react much to it?
For two reasons. I mean, obviously, everyone had anticipated because the Fed futures were, giving 100% probability of a 25%, 25 basis points rate cut, which is what exactly happened. But right now, the market is very focused on the possible inflation trajectory, possible need for refinancing large maturities that are happening. Everyone is expecting that the foreign investors will continue to remain indifferent to the fresh issue of the treasury bonds. Therefore, there is a concern on the supply side. It's not so much the Fed rate cut, which is the market focus. Market is focused on the supply management. And that's why I think the long-term rates are not going to come down in a big way.
Sir, let's talk about our home markets now. How do you think RBI is going to read this? And although we have a separate story, but yes, we do have a key concern, which is inflation. What, according to you, could be RBI's stance, or what could RBI derive from this particular step now?
I I think that with the Fed rate cut, RBI should definitely feel more, comfortable, and they should tilt towards further rate cut, because at the moment India has a very compelling case for further cuts by the Reserve Bank, but that is, hindered because of the global environment. So we have two concerns globally. One is the tariff-related uncertainty, and second is the global trend for the long-term yields to go up. But if we look at India in particular, the inflation is at multi-year low. The fiscal situation is very strong. The government has given a huge, boost to consumption by cutting the GST rates, and the monsoon has been good. The reservoir levels are, from a historical perspective, at a very, very comfortable level, and the commodity space continues to be very well behaved. So therefore, there is a very compelling case for the Reserve Bank to cut rates further. However, the global uncertainties and especially the trend in relation to the long-term bond yields in the global markets is where the Reserve Bank will possibly want to wait and watch for the long-term rates to, come down further. And that's where I think even in case of India, it's most likely that the short-term rates will come down further, but the long-term rates will remain stable at around the current level of 6.5. Therefore, I feel strongly that there isn't much space for the duration to perform in a meaningful way in the current environment. So therefore, the allocation should be largely accrual oriented in the current atmosphere. So in terms of monetary policy action, we can and we should expect a couple of more rate cuts, but don't expect that to have a meaningful impact on the long-term bond yields.
All right. So now, how should one strategize themselves as far as fixed income strategies are concerned? Still time to go long in fixed income?
No, time to be long in fixed income is always there because fixed income is one asset class which always gives positive return. But I think the allocation between different sub segments of the fixed income needs to now reorient. So, as I said, if I talk from a mutual fund perspective, I think right now is time to largely remain concentrated in the low duration and the short duration category of the debt mutual funds, because the low duration category captures the steepness of the money market curve. And as we discussed, if there is a possibility that the Reserve Bank will cut rates further, that is the segment that will benefit the most. And then short duration allows us to have some sort of play on the duration side also. So combination of low duration, short duration mutual fund right now, in my opinion, is a good combination to be in.
All right, I think with that, it's time upon the show as well. Thank you so much, Mahendra sir, for taking time out and helping our viewers understand the US rate cut decision and also break down these strategies as far as the fixed income portfolio is concerned. Thank you so much for being on the show today. Thanks.
Thank you.
And it's time up on the Money Show as well, but then I'm going to leave you with our WhatsApp number and email ID where you can send across your question, because this is the show where we answer your portfolio queries. Just in case any expert advice, recommendation you want on your financial portfolio, on your financial investment or strategies, you can send us your queries on our WhatsApp number and email ID, and we will get it checked live by our experts on the show. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.